Hey guys, Haro here. Today I want to talk about something that's important for especially buyers of a home here in Greenville, South Carolina. So if you're buying a home in Greenville and we work together, one of the things that I recommend for everyone to do is to drive by the house before we schedule a showing. Now, why drive by the house before we schedule a showing? There's many reasons for doing this. And when I explain it to our clients, we do an upfront buyer consult with anybody that's buying with us. And when I explain it to our clients, I explain it like this. Number one, we're going to find stuff online that we need to, whether it's through the MLS or through another source, we need to vet those properties. We need to make sure that the criteria that we have discussed, that those properties match it. So we're not wasting time on houses that aren't a match. So that's step one. So they look over the list. I curate the list, or they curate the list. They look over it. Whatever party finds the list, the other party needs to vet it and look over it. So if it's me, I'm going to send it to the client, and then they're going to look over it, and we're going to decide, hey, we're interested in these 3 or 4 or 5, or 10 or 12, whatever the number is. What I find is if the number's really big, then we're not really tight on the criteria, and we need to tighten that up, because there's usually not that many houses on the market that match all the criteria. So if the number's really big, but sometimes it's big, and then we take it, and then I want to look at, if the client comes up with it, I want to look at in the MLS, talk to the agents, discuss a number of things that are pertinent to that client, find out all the information that I can about that property or those properties. And then that narrows down the list. That takes 20 by 20, 30%, sometimes up to 50%, that narrows down that list. And then we take that list, say we're down to 7 houses at this point. Then we take that list, and what I encourage all my buyers to do at that point is to go drive the neighborhood if they haven't already. Why do that? For a number of reasons. Number one, they want to see if they like the area, if they like the house, if they're unfamiliar with that area, if they're unfamiliar with that neighborhood. They need to drive the area, see if they like the outside, how does it feel, what's the neighborhood like. Some people, it's important to them to go at different times of day, see what it's like, see what the neighborhood's like, see who's there. I've even had clients, and I recommend this, one of the best ways to know if a neighborhood's a good fit is go knock on doors. Talk to some of the neighbors, see what they like, see what they dislike. What are the things that they're saying? Is it a tight-knit community, or is it like everyone's garages are down, they come in and they don't talk to each other? Is that what you're looking for? So that's important. But one of the main reasons, there's a couple of reasons. Another reason is seeing houses or seeing the neighborhoods with an agent makes everyone more aware of their time. So, they're with an agent, they feel the pressure of the agent, like, are we going to make a decision, blah, blah, blah. So it's better to drive these neighborhoods on one's own time. And the last thing, probably the most important thing, I've been on the selling side of a lot of properties, and over time, and I've worked with a lot of buyers over time. Usually when someone sets a window for going to see a property with a buyer, it's at a minimum 30 minutes, usually an hour, every once in a while, an hour and a half or 2-hour window. So in that case, the seller who's received this notification about the showing needs to gather up their family, sometimes pets, oftentimes pets. I'd say about 50 to 60% of the population has pets. And they need to then leave the property, leave it in tip-top condition because you want it to show well, and then be ready for a buyer to come see it. Now, if after all of that, a buyer drives up to the house and they say, I don't want to go inside because I don't like the neighborhood, then if that has to be communicated to the seller by either one of the agents, usually the seller's, like the listing agent, the person that listed it for them, communicating that to the seller, that's just really quite inconsiderate and could have been avoided. So that's one of the main reasons that we recommend highly for our clients to drive by a house before we go see it. I think that's an important part of the process. Our mission statement is to make the communities God's placed us in thrive. So kind of embedded in that is we want to be circumspect in how we think about everybody in this transaction. And we've been in the real estate industry for 14 years, and we plan on being in it for many, many more years. And so if we we don't want to be the type of people that schedule showings and then don't show up and don't look at those houses. So that's on top of all the other things. Those are some of the reasons that I think it is wise for a buyer to drive by the properties on their own time before showings are scheduled for those properties. If you have any questions, please post them below. Happy to field them. And subscribe, all of that stuff that you're supposed to do with YouTube channels. Thanks for listening. Talk to you later.